Tensi with CNTV, and we are here in Elizabeth, Colorado. I'm sitting down with Pam at the Legacy Academy, soon to be the first and new iSchool in Colorado. And Pam, there's a lot of activity going on behind us here. People are getting ready tonight to basically give some information out there to these parents who are wondering what's going on, what all the buzz is about. Let me ask you, Pam, let's start out first with the school in general. Tell me, what does Legacy Academy offer overall?
Well, we're a charter school, and so we're a school of choice. But what we offer is core knowledge. And what's so exciting about core knowledge is that we offer a rich curriculum. We offer histories and sciences to our third graders, our kindergartners, where they're learning about Caesar and they're learning about the westward movement. So it's a very exciting academic experience for all grades, K through 8.
Wow, that's fantastic. So we're talking about a charter school of excellence. Basically, you're giving them a well-rounded education. Basically, you're teaching them how to be leaders out there in the real world.
Absolutely, and we're also a school of character, and that's important to us because we teach character. It's part of our, we have a monthly character trait that we choose students that exemplify those character traits. It's very important to us to not only prepare our students academically, but as far as having good character so that you're hired first.
Yeah, fantastic. What's nice about the program here is it is a tuition-free public school of choice. Is that correct?
Correct, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Well, a lot of people think that a charter school is private, and we are not a private school. We are a public school. Charter schools are so that a parent has a choice. If they want to experience what we offer, they can come to our school no matter where they live. They can live 50 miles away and still come to our school. And not all schools fit each child's needs, so we're an alternative.
Tell me a little bit about the curriculum overall. Are we talking sports even?
Absolutely. We offer sports. We offer volleyball. We offer baseball. We have soccer. We offer all of those things that the public schools offer. I believe that our curriculum is just a little richer, and because we have a spiral program, so the kindergartners actually start with history, and they actually start with, and of course you have the musics and you have the PE, and but they start early, and then it wraps around. And core knowledge really does believe in that spiraling effect. So if you didn't quite get it in second grade, you're going to get it again in fourth grade, and then if you don't get it again, if you're not quite getting it and there's something missing, it grows. So that's to me, it's a real important feature of our core knowledge program and how it does spiral, so no one is left behind or no one misses a concept and never gets it again.
So let's talk about room size, class size per teacher.
We have a smaller class size. We have 2 classes per grade, so we can't get any larger than that. And unfortunately, in the public school system, as we know with the budget cuts, we're really facing that large class size. And as a parent and as a teacher, we know it's difficult to reach those children. So we keep our class sizes smaller, and I think that differentiation you're more able to do with the students, which is important to us as well, to reach every child on his or her level.
Great. What are some of the comments you have heard since you've been here from parents as far as the overall program?
They're very pleased with the program. I know that I have heard several comments about, I cannot believe my child is learning this. I never got this when I was in elementary or middle school. I also hear a lot about the community feel that we offer. We're a family. When one of our students is injured or going through rough times, or parents, we're a community. We pull together, and I think that's a benefit of the charter school as well. Parents have a lot of say in our education in our school. In fact, charter school was started by the parents, so that's also another plus. The parents don't get left behind, and it's a very, very nice family atmosphere here at Legacy.
Well, you guys are definitely doing something great here. Obviously, you've gotten the attention of Apple, this technology king out there who's basically bringing you guys on and converting you over to an iSchool. Let's talk a little bit about the technology of iSchool. From your own personal standpoint, what are you excited about?
I'm excited because we are in a time where these students are digital learners, and unfortunately school systems aren't reaching these digital learners. It's a time where kids are using cell phones, iPads, iPods, computers, laptops, PCs, and so they need that engagement. Anybody knows when you give a 10-year-old a cell phone, it takes 10 minutes to figure it out, and whereas it takes us a little longer. So to be able to be the first in Colorado to really engage those students, to really reach them on their level. So many kids are bored in school, and they don't find it relevant because it's not on the moment, at the moment. You can't touch and feel it. Whereas with the digital age, each child will have their own laptop. They will have their own iPads, and it's not just about that, but to be able to reach those students and to have them in their differentiated learning groups and to excite them, because we all know that those kids love the digital age and they love those computers. And it's exciting too because they'll work on the students' levels, and we can have two kids sitting side by side on different levels and reaching them and engaging them. It's so important. So important.
I'm here with the chairman of iSchool Campus, Tom Pitcher. Tom, tell me, this is something brand new that you guys are bringing into the nation here. It's going like wildfire, basically because people get it. They understand that kids learn more when they're basically technology driven. Tell me, before we jump into the technology side, which is great, tell me what the overall concept is of iSchool.
Well, to answer that question, we really have to talk about what's the problem right now that this solves, because people do get it. The problem is that public education hasn't gotten it for a long time. And in fact, I like to say that public education was built in the 1920s for assembly line workers, and it really hasn't changed since. So we're talking about a huge epidemic problem throughout our country's schools, and the biggest weakness that we see is in technology. The reason technology is so important is if you want to provide a customized educational environment for each child, you've got to bring in technology horsepower, because one teacher can't do that for 25 different kids. And that's why we have a one-size-fits-all educational system right now. One teacher lecturing in front of a whiteboard to 25 kids who probably learn 3 or 4 different ways per child. So the math just doesn't add up. And that's really where iSchool came in. We worked diligently with the folks at Apple Computers, and we integrated their tools and devices into a state-of-the-art charter school facility. We started this in Utah with a brand new school, so we could pretty much wipe the slate clean and design this from the ground up the way Apple would want it to be designed. And as a charter school, we know that we're independent enough and the board can make decisions quickly enough to make that happen. And the result was a school with 875 kids, a wait list of 1,200, and teacher applications of about 400 applicants to teach for 40 slots. That's how exciting this model has become, and it's really because it gets to the heart of differentiated learning environments. That's the holy grail of education.
So basically, you're talking about the reason you guys are getting the kind of results you're getting because A, you're cutting through the red tape. People can make decisions quicker. B, you're basically putting the technology first and then basically putting it together in such a way that it is customized to a lot of different students.
Right, and let's start with the governance structure first, because that's what allows this to happen. This is why we install these in charter schools, because the huge school districts either aren't willing or can't move this fast to install technology school-wide. And so the charter model really allows us to do that. Now, once we get a charter school like this, Legacy Academy, to buy off on the concept that they would like to create differentiated learning, then we bring in these Apple devices. And that's where the action really starts, is these individual devices have capabilities that are unbelievable for students and the opportunities that they really want to reach for, which is not only to learn and to consume information, but it's to produce it. See, that's the real difference, is once the kids can own a project or own the curriculum and drive it, suddenly they're engaged and they're learning. And by the way, they're learning at their pace and in their individual style, which really radically disrupts the whole classroom experience from the old Sally is slow, Johnny is fast, Norm doesn't learn this way. Now everyone is learning at their own style, at their own pace, and often they're with headphones on, and no one else can tell where they're at. So you don't have to pull kids out in the hall room. You don't have to keep them back a grade or accelerate them. Every child is learning at their own pace in their own style. Pretty neat.
When you get on these electronic devices, do they seem to keep your attention pretty good?
Yeah, really like a lot, because I just sort of like technology and how it works and all.
Like it or not, textbooks are not interactive. Back in the day, that was the coolest thing, just to see things in color. But you're talking about a way that they can be a part of. They're actually even changing the textbooks themselves.
Textbooks is such an old passé term. In fact, laptop is now passé, by the way. A laptop is antiquated and old school. Now we're talking about the iPad 2, which revolutionizes the whole educational experience, primarily because it provides apps instead of standard textbooks or software curriculum. Now these apps can be so many places and so many times that for $2 a teacher can download an app for the entire classroom to use, and it wirelessly integrates into every child's individual iPad too. So we don't even wire these kids anymore. It's all wireless, and it's customized applications rather than large textbooks or software programs. That's totally antiquated now. And the nice thing for the teacher is that she can use these as tools. She or he can use these as tools, download them in real time to supplement whatever lesson they're working on. And these are all searchable on iTunes and are downloaded just like the kids download music or games. Very intuitive.
You've got a seamless now between play and learning.
That's right, and we're really trying to capture the imaginations of the kids through the devices. That's the sticky part, okay? Once we have their attention, now we're ready to deliver the curriculum. And once the curriculum is delivered, once they actually get it, okay, as you like to say, they get it, now we're ready for them to produce information. And for that, we have applications like GarageBand, iMovie, Keynote, Word, Pages, and Numbers. And all of those applications are studio ready. So kids are producing now what Hollywood studios couldn't produce 3 or 4 years ago. My 14-year-old is producing it on iMovie, on a Mac, and now on an iPad too. Pretty remarkable.
So when you're talking about the iPad, you're talking about the latest technology out there. Let's talk a little bit about what the teacher's going to be looking at, which is this interactive board.
Yeah, so the Promethean whiteboards are what we call them. And they are large whiteboards like you typically see, only when you turn them on, they turn into a full web interactive environment. Each Promethean board comes loaded with about 200,000 lesson plans, okay, that can be delivered digitally, or individual applications can be used integrating video, sound, text, and really make the classroom environment interactive. Now, what's really neat about these whiteboards is that you can have a relatively small group of kids working with them at the same time that the other kids are working on the iPads, okay? And that allows the teacher to be in so many places at once. So the really neat thing about the Promethean board is while the child is learning, they're carrying a trigger. And so when they learn a concept, they hit one button, which tells the teacher real time that they just got that concept. If they hit the other button, the red button, it tells the teacher that Johnny needs to go back and learn that again, real time. And so the assessment tools that we're integrating into these classrooms really stand out, and they make a big difference because we're not waiting for the CSAP scores or standardized testing to be held with the little bubble charts like we used to do with the pencils every once or twice a year. The teacher's actually knowing what Johnny and Susie are learning on a real-time basis. So she's looking at her screen like Control Center, and she knows whether they are reading at grade level or they're falling behind. And
Tell me about these audio enhancements. I mean, tell me what the teacher's got on.
yeah, it seems fairly simple, but this is surround sound audio in the classroom, and the teacher has a mic right here that's around their neck, and when they speak into the mic and they're pressing a button, their voice is broadcast throughout the room in surround sound. And what that allows for is that teacher X can talk about the volume that I'm speaking, and every student will hear he or she at the same level, and she doesn't need to say, "Johnny, over there, settle down," which really disrupts the whole classroom environment. And what we're trying to build here is a heartbeat within the classroom. all right? And this heartbeat is emotionally stable. This heartbeat is robust, and the heartbeat is creative and is really attentive to each child's individual needs. And what we're finding is that these classrooms are so engaging that the emotional temperament of the class really settles down. Because if you've ever seen a kid dive into technology, what you'll find is they're no longer bored. And if they're not bored, they're typically not getting into trouble.
So this has got to be a great learning tool back and forth.
Well, what really creates terrific and revolutionary learning environments is relevancy, okay? And these kids know what is relevant to them. And as soon as you give them something that's not relevant, they will turn you off. And as soon as you give them something that is relevant, they will light it up. And I'll give you one example. One of these apps on the iPad is called Elements, and it's the periodic table of elements. Well, you can push a button and it will show you one of the elements. And let's take gold, for example. If the gold is rotating three-dimensionally, and then you can show another screenshot that will show the current price of gold, all right, today, and how it's trading and why it's trading that way. And then the student can also move to periodic element number 117. Well, the interesting thing about 117 is it didn't exist 6 months ago, okay? It was discovered in a lab in Russia and is now on the iPad live for the child to see. Pretty neat.
Tell me, you're out there with the parents. What are you finding these parents telling you?
Well, the parents really light up when they see something that's going to benefit their child, okay? Their heart is in the progress and development of their children. And the real dilemma that they face right now is they don't know this technology, all right? They know that their child is going to need it. They know that they want it to be safe and they want it to be relevant. They have no idea how to deliver it.
And they're actually going to have it to where everything's going to be monitored from the school as well, so everything is safe for them. Plus, it keeps them engaged because my kids love to play on the computer. So this is just another way if I can integrate playing with learning anytime, I think they just get the concepts faster.
Schools like Legacy will be leading out, helping not only the children learn the technology, but also the parents. There could be after-hour support technologically for the parents, adult learning, but I think the biggest thing is that parents know that this is next generation technology. This is a next generation educational platform that is going to migrate from what they learned into a whole nother level technologically into what their children learn. And that's what parents want, is they want the next generation to have more opportunities and to do better than their own.
Some of the parents out there maybe thinking about bringing their student on over, trying something new, trying to get in on this new technology. What would you tell them?
Well, the sad part is there are only 21% of the students today find school interesting, and only 28% find it relevant. So why not introduce technology into their lives where we know that they can power up coming to school, not powering down from their usual lifestyles and interest in technology. And so I would say that bring them here, let them find their way through their technology, and let's make school interesting.
Technology, they've always said, is coming and it's in the future. And here in Elizabeth, it is right here. It's come. And so you've got the actual iSchool website at the bottom of the screen. So we're sure there's a lot of other schools out there that would love to get on board here. And their website's right at the bottom of the screen as well. And also the Legacy iSchool, which is the first of Colorado here, is basically getting on board and learning, interacting with your students, giving them technology at their fingertips. So they're basically not learning from a 1920s antiquated style anymore, but they are now in the future, ready for the future, and to become leaders. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.
We're from iSchool. We've done our homework, we've done our research, and we'd like to welcome you to the next generation of education.
Legacy Wildcats is now in iSchool.